Yo, what's going on, guys? Cuff4Runs here, and today we're doing our $1,000 Skylake budget build. Let's get into this, guys. To that intro. So anyways, guys, we're back. So let's kick this build off, starting with the motherboard. So this motherboard I picked for this build is the Gigabyte LGA 1151, obviously Skylake socket, Z170 chipset. So say later on you could overclock. You can use this motherboard to overclock your CPU. It supports two-way SLI. Has dual BIOS. It also has, I don't know how to pronounce UEFI. It's just, I don't know how you pronounce it, but I heard it's better than BIOS. It supports keyboard and mouse support, which is pretty nice. It's an ATX motherboard, so sadly, if you're not following the budget and you want to use a spare case, you can't use anything smaller than ATX. So I'd recommend ATX case for this build. It supports DDR4 dual channel. So since this is DDR4, it supports up to 32 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM in dual channel. If you want to fill up the slots, it can support up to 64 gigabytes of RAM. You're not, again, it's kind of overkill. I mean, 32 gigs is at the point where, like, you're not even gonna have to upgrade that for, like, forever. You're never gonna have to upgrade from, you barely even need 16 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, at the point of when you start just getting enough money to put random stuff in, that, like, the last thing you want to do with random money that you have for upgrades on your PC is buy more RAM. I mean, that's the last thing you want to do. But I mean, if you really overkill and you want 64 gigabytes of RAM, this motherboard can support up to that. It has 6 USB 2.0 ports. It has 7 USB 3.0 ports, and it has 1 USB 3.1 port, which the A+C ports thing, I think it means it supports like A or C ports. I don't know for sure. The nice thing about this motherboard is, I have it highlighted, it has an HDMI port. So say you're not really going to be playing games, you're just going to be using this to watch movies, which, I mean, at that point you're not even going to want to get Skylake. But I mean, if you really want to get it, I mean, I'm not going to judge you, but this does have an HDMI port on it, so if you're just going to be watching movies, you don't even need the graphics card. You can just plug HDMI into your TV from your motherboard, bam, watching movies and stuff. Great way if you're really that kind of person, and you want to spend the money and you want to get Skylake. I mean, I'm not judging you, but I mean, at that point, you might as well just go with the last gen and get some cheap graphics card that has an HDMI port on it. In my opinion, I'd do that. Save you more money, and you're gonna still get the same experience. So next, we're getting into our CPU. You guys got a quick glance at it once already, and I don't know what just happened there. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. So, you guys also just got a sneak peek at the RAM. Dang it. I mean, you obviously knew how much RAM I was going to pick, considering that this is a gaming build. But sadly, with the budget, we couldn't fit the i5-6600K, which is an overclockable CPU, which would have taken advantage of Z170, you know, the overclocking chipset. But see, later on down the road, I mean, you have enough money, you're sick, you're sick of not overclocking, and you really want an overclockable CPU. You could honestly, and you want to do video editing, hardcore YouTube and stuff, get that i7-6700K. It's overclockable. It can definitely edit it, and it can definitely do good editing. It can stream on it. Or say you're gonna still stick with gaming, but you just want that overclockability of the chipset. You just don't care if you spend the extra $50 and go over budget a little. Hey, definitely pick up that overclockable chipset. But I'm making a $1,000 budget build. I don't want to be a hypocrite and go over by a little bit. I'm trying to make this a budget build for people that don't want to spend any more than they have to. So I mean, this is definitely a decent build. And later on, I'm definitely gonna tell you something that you can take out of the build to save yourselves some money, and you could definitely go with that 6600K in this build if you don't want the other thing that I'm going to show you in a little bit. So you guys already got a sneak peek at the RAM. I picked 8GB DDR4 single stick. You may be wondering, why didn't I pick two 4GB sticks? I didn't pick two 4GB sticks because, say later on down the road, you really want to take advantage of dual channel, but you want the higher capacity. You just want to throw another 8GB stick, get 16GB of dual channel. Definitely worth it. If you're ever gonna get into video editing and stuff, definitely worth it. Good way to do it. DDR4 2133 megahertz, pretty fast RAM. You're not really gonna need any. You probably don't even need anything faster than 1600 megahertz. I couldn't find that though. I'm pretty sure that they have 1600 megahertz DDR4, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find 1866 either. I figured, hey, 4550 with free shipping on this RAM, not bad for DDR4, 8GB. I mean, like literally on DDR3, you pay like $10 less, and you get the same capacity. I think, yeah, same capacity, lower speed. Okay. Also, I almost forgot to mention, this is a 50% discount, insane deal. Okay, dude, these Skylake CPUs are usually going for around $500, which is like half the budget. So thanks for those awesome deals, Amazon. Yeah, this is an Amazon build for those people that don't like putting in their credit cards on those websites. I mean, you could obviously get way cheaper prices on other websites and definitely spend less. I'm using Amazon because it's usually a little more expensive than like Newegg and stuff. And I mean, it kind of gives you an idea that you could spend way less than this and you could still get a good build. 126 free shipping. We haven't spent anything on shipping so far this whole build. Let's go over to our graphics card right now. So this graphics card I decided to use in the build is a R9 390 8GB frame buffer MSI edition graphics card. So basically, what's so special about this graphics card you would pick it over GTX 970? Okay, so say you're wanting to play 1440p games. This is an amazing graphics card, and if that motherboard actually supports Crossfire, definitely put it in the comment section. Other people know they could definitely later on down the road upgrade, get a Crossfire setup with these graphics cards. I'm pretty sure it'd be able to maybe handle 4K. Don't quote me on it, but I think it could. It uses a 6-pin PCIe power connector and an 8-pin, so definitely watch out for that. And it supports up to 3 display monitors at 4K resolution with a memory interface of 512-bit. You can see the core clocks and stuff right here. You could pause if you want to read those. So $330, definitely worth it. But say you're getting into maybe rendering, you're using Blender a lot, stuff like that, definitely pick up an NVIDIA GPU with CUDA enabled on it. Save you a lot of time on your rendering. Definitely worth it, more than the R9 390 if you're doing a lot of like rendering using like Blender and those other ones that support NVIDIA CUDA. I'd use it over at R9 390 if that's your case. But if you're just gaming, you're not using it to render anything on Blender or anything, get the 390. It's better in performance. It outperforms a lot of the 970 in a lot of games. So that's basically my 2 cents. Obviously, at the end of the day, though, you can't go off my opinion. I mean, everybody is with bias. I mean, I try to be as unbiased as possible, but I mean, I kind of like the R9 390. I mean, the black and red color scheme is kind of growing right now. I mean, the RAM, even though it's black and white, it still matches our color scheme a little bit. The CPU is white and it has like a green thing on it, but you're not really going to notice that. But like our motherboard has black and red on it, so we're kind of matching that black color scheme going on with our thing. So I mean, you can't deny it. It's pretty cool right now. I mean, don't say that I suck at color schemes. I'm not trying to do a color scheme $1,000 build, but I mean, pretty coincidentally, the hardware that we picked is kind of going along together. If you really want the color scheme, you could just buy a different set of RAM and stuff if you really care about that a lot. Doesn't matter with a $1,000 budget build, but if that's your thing, it's your thing. Not gonna judge you. At the end of the day, everybody has their own preferences. Definitely your thing. R9 390, definitely a good buy if you're just doing gaming. Rendering with Blender and other things that have NVIDIA CUDA for like faster rendering times. Get that NVIDIA graphics card that has CUDA on it. Worth it, 100%. 1440p gaming, get the R9 390. 1080p gaming, it might be worth it to still spend that extra $20 on the 390 though. Next, let's go into our storage. So we have a 1TB Caviar Blue drive. Not a lot of people are going to use more than a terabyte. If you really wanted to, you could spend an extra $20, $25, get a 2TB drive, or maybe a 3TB drive for $100. Yeah, I picked 1TB there because a lot of people aren't going to be using more than that. And it's all we could really fit into this budget, but I mean, if you're one of those people that doesn't care about the budget and you're okay with spending a little more, definitely get a higher capacity drive if you are definitely going to take advantage of that storage. That's it, $54 free shipping on this 1TB drive. Get it with this build, it's amazing, going to save you a lot of time. And then this is for our, like, really fast load times on Windows and stuff. This build does not, I forgot to say this at the beginning, but this build does not include keyboard, mouse, monitor, or OS. But this will just load up your OS faster. You can put some of your games on it, like a game or two on it if you can fit it. Load up that stuff faster because it is an SSD, no moving parts, it'll last longer. I'd definitely pick it up, but this is the thing I was talking about. You could take this SSD out and you could upgrade that CPU to a 6600K. Personally, I don't really care about overclockability, so I'd probably keep the SSD myself. My personal preference, like I said, it all comes down to personal preference. If you want the overclockability and you don't mind sacrificing that extra load time, if you're going to be leaving your PC on stuff, definitely get the 6600K. Sorry, I'm using definitely a lot, but if you're gonna 100% use that 6600K overclockability, get the 6600K over the SSD if you don't mind sacrificing that load time. Next, let's get into our power supply. I picked a 660 watt power supply. Unfortunately, if I wanted to fit a fully modular power supply, we would have went a little over budget, but if you want to, you get a fully modular power supply, help out with cable management and stuff. Pick it up. Not bad buy at all. I mean, if it was me personally, I would definitely sacrifice about $10 on the extra budget to get that fully modular power supply. That's about it. And then next, we have our NZXT S340 mid-tower ATX case, black and red. I picked the black and red because it kind of matches our color scheme. I mean, it's not perfect, but I mean, kind of matches. So this case has two USB 3.0 ports. It has an audio and mic port. It has some internal bass. It has three 3.5-inch bass slots, and it has two 2.5-inch bass slots. Which I think that means you wouldn't need a connector for SSDs, but don't quote me on that. I don't know 100% sure. It uses steel and plastic. I'm not too sure what that does. Don't judge me. So it's basically it. It's just nice ATX tower case, ATX mid tower. I really like that. I like the aesthetic look of this case. If I had to go back and choose a different case for my PC, I'd definitely pick this one. It looks really nice, and I enjoy looking at it. I mean, I would pick it up, but right now I'm upgrading to an SSD in my build using that 250 gigabyte SSD actually that I showed you in this build. I'm gonna use that to upgrade my PC, and I'm putting my Windows copy on it. So, and I'm gonna be, gonna really take advantage of that faster load time. It's gonna be awesome, quick, snappy load time. I'm gonna love it. So yeah, that was it for this $1,000 budget build on our Skylake build. The grand total actually comes to $977. You know what the best part is? we spend nothing on free shipping. Actually, yeah, we spend nothing on we spend nothing on our shipping. Okay, guys, literally nothing. You see this, all eligible for free shipping, and we qualify for free shipping. I mean, you all you have to spend is over $30 and you qualify for it, which is awesome. So it's gonna be free shipping. Obviously the prices will differ, but in the US right now, as of January 27th, or the 28th actually, which will be when this video goes up, this is all at the low I mean for a Skylake build, pretty low. I mean, without all the savings, it would actually be at about $1,500 to $1,510. So amazing. Skylake, cheap for Skylake anyways, 2/3 the regular cost of a Skylake build. So let's get this over with, guys. So we just did the build. I mean, I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I had fun putting this parts list together. Obviously there could be some better stuff with it. For example, if you're going to use overclock ability, I wouldn't go with Z170. I used Z170 because it was a decently cheap motherboard that I found. It was ATX, which makes it easier to work with. I mean, more room on the motherboard to work with. 8 gigabytes. If we really wanted to, we could have went with a cheaper motherboard and gotten more RAM, but we don't need more RAM. We could have probably sacrificed that SSD, I mean, to get a better graphics card, maybe an extra $50 to get upgrade to some other graphics card. Who knows? I mean, there's definitely some stuff I could have changed. Let me know any suggestions that you would do. If this was your own build, budget build, what would you change on it? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm out. Peace out. See you next time, guys.